brought a hat with me, which might seem unusual, but I wear hats a lot, and this was one of Nicole's favorites. She commented several times on it. So if you don't mind, I'd like to wear it. We had Nicole at IVC for 2 years. And in those 2 years, she was very busy and very active, and a lot of our students are here, music students, in the audience today. And you will have a chance to hear them perform later. Nicole Joy Ledina. She walked into our rehearsal room in August of 2015 to take a music audition, and all at that time we had was her name and email and some contact, and that she wanted to be a voice major, and she went to Woodbridge. And she was, when students come in to do this, they're usually pretty nervous, and they're usually pretty quiet. But Nicole came in, as I'm sure you can all imagine. She was respectful and confident, held herself well, well-spoken, articulate, but had this huge smile that you all are well aware of. And she was very, very bubbly, as I know you all understand. We did not know it yet that we had just met and heard a wonderful, intelligent, talented, curious, empathetic, high-quality human being who possessed an enormous heart, passion, and drive. But we were soon to learn all of that. Nicole started herself out early, with me at least, about her first or second week. Very early in her first semester, she asked if she could have an appointment, so I said yes. And she came by the office, and the first thing I noticed was she arrived on time. Not always a strong point with college students. And then she had a whole list of questions, and we spoke probably for a good half an hour or more, and it was kind of rapid fire, and most of it I wasn't sure what to tell her right away, because she was asking me about music therapy and places to transfer, and I'm thinking, you're in your second week. You're in your second week. You have a little time before you have to worry about transfer. Anyway, this all came at me. You know, we were talking and everything, and I felt at the end that I'm the one that needed to take a breath, even though, you know how she was, right? She just came quickly, right? And so I encouraged her to, do her research, but I also knew that how busy she was about to get, and so I encouraged her to narrowly focus a little bit for the first semester and worry about her applied music and her music theory, because those constitute the bulk of what I call running the freshman gauntlet shock of music majorhood. And she was good and said thank you, and that she would do that. And then next thing I knew, about 2 months later, the Music to Heal Club was formed, which is what she told me she wanted to do, and I encouraged her to wait a little bit until she got a little bit through the first couple months here of music theory. And but the Music to Heal Club was formed, and they were already planning performances for December, and this is all from a first semester freshman. This is quite impressive, and all I could do was smile, because when I turned around, that club all of a sudden had about, 40, 50 members in it, and they were out doing stuff and meeting regularly, and I saw the signs posted, and she did all of that. When I learned of her passing, we received a phone call from Rebecca Hernandez, one of our alums. I asked some of our music students and some of my colleagues for some comments. Tell me something that you think reflects Nicole. And here are some of the things that they said. I'm just going to say them. These came from the students and from some colleagues. Keen self-starter. These are all things I think you would recognize. Self-driven, organized, positive, an optimist, a catalyst, a leader, a believer, caring, loving, sympathetic, someone who had empathy, thinks of others first, warm, accepting, respectful, courteous, funny, friendly, engaging, talkative, always in a good mood, supportive of her fellow students, constant musical improvement. And I'd like to read I gleaned that from comments, but a few direct quotes from one or two of the students. One was, she brought people together to perform music for less fortunate people. And that's true, and that was the Music to Heal Club, and that was her goal. That's what she wanted to do as a music therapist. She asked me one day for some help with some of the music theory exercises, and after working with her, that was the first time I really saw myself becoming a music teacher. She had pure heart. She never said a bad word about people. She truly wanted to help people through music therapy. Nicole was active in the psychology department and in our honors program, and by being a club organizer with the associated students. And she told me that her intentions were to double major in music and psychology. And I know that you would find similar remarks from the students and faculty in those departments. Continuous musical improvement. I had Nicole in a class called Applied Music Performance Workshop, where the students perform and we have guest speakers in this professional training course. And the trajectory is usually the first year a little bit like this, and then the second year things start to take off. And by the fourth semester is usually when we see the largest improvement. And that was absolutely true of Nicole. And I can remember maybe April, this past April, she sang in the class, and her voice had opened up and become bigger and more resonant and showed some real flashes of the emerging mature voice that she was developing. And she got an immediate response from the students. And I was standing in the back, and I just looked at her. Listen to your peers. And she flashed that big smile that we all know. What was up there earlier. And I think that's the last time she performed in the class. I think that was the performance that she had. Her smile. Over the last 2 days, I attended the 2 visitations, and I heard a lot of comments about her smile. Everyone knows what I'm talking about. Every time she greeted you, she smiled. She said something. She always was polite. She always said thank you. And so it's her spirit that we will take with us. And for me, that vision of how happy she always was. Last August, Nicole sent an email to Dr. Matthew Tressler, who is our choir director, and myself. And in it, she told us about all the things she had been doing last summer. She went to some seminars and some conferences. And to be honest with you, since a lot of them were psychology disciplined, I have to be honest, I didn't understand the titles of most of the conferences. But she had a good time. She always sent pictures, and they were always with somebody important in the field. She even sent me a picture one time of the head of music education from UCLA, because she happened to find out that back in the late 70s and early 80s, he and I had been colleagues and good friends, and she thought I would enjoy the picture, which I did. And after she talked about everything, she wrote, she continued and told Dr. Tressler and I that she had fallen ill and had spent part of the summer in the hospital, and that she wasn't sure yet what it was, and that she thought she should reduce her load and focus on her health. And of course, we were in agreement. She did enroll in some classes and was around, and she never said much more to us about it. Never complained, but we could see in her eyes when she was having a better day or not as better a day, when she was tired. And I knew our students, I'm always proud of our students, and I knew that they would be helpful. And so I watched as they occasionally helped her carry something, or just helped her get through the day. And these are the things that I was able to observe. I don't really know what she shared with them, but they included her, as they always had, in everything they did, and she was there on the front lines with them every single day. Occasionally we would check in, how are you doing, Nicole? And if I saw that she looked like she was tired that day, and she would just smile and say, I'm fine, Dr. Rochford, I just need to get through this, you know. And then the spring semester came, and things seemed to be going better. She was much stronger, and had a great semester. I think that the Music to Heal Club is probably going to be besides your spirit, her strongest legacy here at the college. She got many students involved from across the campus. At first I wondered about it because our track record in the music department with clubs was not good, and so she really made this happen. And when I walked in one day during one of the meetings, I was astonished at how many students were in the room. Not just music students, mostly music students, but students from other parts of the campus, and that they were going on and doing things. It was after the fact that I found out some of the things they were doing, to be honest with you, off campus. I knew more on campus what they were doing. And somewhere along the way here, she met a person named Olga Samsonova-Jellison, who is a music therapist, and her husband, Kevin, who is on our music faculty. And Olga invited Nicole to spend some time with her, to sort of be beside her while she was doing her job. I said, you know, if you really want to do something, I tell the students this, if you want to be a police officer, then go hang out with police officers. See what they do on every day of their job. And so Nicole spent a lot of time hanging out with Olga at her work, and then later working for them for a little bit. And I know that she was very happy doing that. She told me about it. She told me about wanting to do some more things with them and for them. And so I want to say thank you to Olga and Kevin for taking her under her wings. Somewhere near the end of the semester, Nicole came up to me in class, or at the end of the class, and big smile, full speed, and said, Dr. Rochford, I got accepted to the Berklee College of Music. And I'm going to spend the first year in Spain. And I remember thinking, Berklee has a program in Spain? And anyway, she was so excited and happy. Again, that big smile that we keep talking about. And I gave her a hug and congratulated her because she had told me that was one of her schools that she really wanted. And then I gave her some of my typical transfer advice. Okay, Nicole, the university moves faster. They expect a lot more. They expect it a lot faster. And by the way, buy some warm clothes, because if you haven't noticed, they have snow in Boston. And knowing that she was a Southern California girl where 60 qualifies as cold, I knew that, and how tall was she, 5 feet, right? I knew that she needed some warm clothes. And she laughed and said, oh, all right, well, we'll get some warm clothes. You know? So Nicole was a kind and thoughtful person. She thought of others, and she would find, I watched her as she did this, she would, by getting to know someone, she would find something that meant something to them, and then she would act on that. And so if you'll let me be personal for a moment, I retired in May, and at my final concert, about 20 minutes before, so I was standing in the back, and there's people running around everywhere, and here comes Nicole. And big smile, gave me a hug, said, congratulations, Dr. Rochford, I have something for you. And so I brought it with me. She got a baton. And I said, why a green bulb? And she said, oh, I think it's a nice color. Now I realize it's a turquoise bulb. It has my initials on it. And there's an inscription on here. The inscription is, the great leaders are the best conductors. They reach beyond the notes to reach the magic of the players and the singers, by Blaine Lee Pardue. And so I thanked her and told her that since I hadn't used it and wasn't used to it, I might not use it that night. And she said, oh no, I understand that. It's okay, I just wanted to give you something. And so she was there that night. And so I've had this on my shelf at home ever since. So now it's our turn to do what we can that would make Nicole happy, would mean something to her, and honor her memory and her vivacious life. This past Thursday, I heard her Uncle Gary say, we should celebrate how she lived and know that she's only going home. I tell the students, make sure you're part of something larger than yourself and make a difference in someone else's life. Well, Nicole, you're now part of the larger, or the largest of the larger than yourself. And I know you've probably already formed a Music to Heal Club. And I know that you're going to smile on us. I met Nicole's parents a number of times after concerts. They came to a lot of concerts, as she did. And the first time I saw them standing, the three of them were standing together. I was about 10 feet away, and I looked over and I thought, of course course, look at the three of them. These are Nicole's parents. And I remember Nicole gathering a bunch of students to take a picture, and after we took the picture, she turned around and told them to sing happy birthday to her mother. So, to Nicole's family, understand that her IVC family loved her very much, and we will miss her. But she will live with us in spirit, and her joyful and giving spirit will be part of who we are, and certainly part of the students who are there with her now, many of whom are here today. Nicole, now you sing with the angels. I know you've already formed a club. So, my final piece of advice, Nicole, get on with it, sing, and make a difference. Rest in peace, Nicole.